Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're embarking on an epic journey through time to explore the incredible story of Canada. From its ancient origins to the vibrant, multicultural nation it is today, Canada's history is a rich tapestry of exploration, conflict, resilience, and unity. So grab your toque, settle in, and let's dive into the history of the Great White North. Our story begins over 15,000 years ago, when the first peoples arrived in North America, crossing the Bering Land Bridge from Asia. Over millennia, they spread across the vast continent, developing diverse cultures and complex societies perfectly adapted to their environments. From the Haida on the west coast, known for their stunning totem poles, to the Iroquois Confederacy in the east. With their sophisticated political systems, these indigenous peoples were the original inhabitants and stewards of this land. Their traditions, languages, and deep connection to the land formed the very foundation of Canada's story. Fast forward to the late 15th century, and a new chapter begins. European explorers, driven by the desire for new trade routes to Asia, began to arrive on North American shores, while Norse Vikings briefly settled in Newfoundland around 1000 AD. It was John Cabot's voyage in 1497, sponsored by England, that marked the start of sustained European contact. But it was the French who would establish the first permanent settlements. In 1608, Samuel de Champlain founded Quebec City, establishing the colony of New France. The fur trade, particularly for beaver pelts, became the economic engine of the colony, creating a complex network of alliances and conflicts between European traders and indigenous nations. The voyageurs paddling their canoes through untamed rivers became legendary figures of this era. As New France grew, so did the ambitions of its rival, Great Britain. The British had established their own colonies to the south, and the competition for land and resources in North America was fierce. This rivalry culminated in the 7 Years' War, a global conflict that played out dramatically in Canada. The pivotal moment came in 1759 with the Battle of the Plains of Abraham, where British forces defeated the French just outside Quebec City. With the Treaty of Paris in 1763, France ceded most of its North American territory to Britain. This moment was a major turning point, setting the stage for a future Canada that would be shaped by both English and French influences. Under British rule, the new province of Quebec faced the challenge of integrating a French-speaking Catholic population. The Quebec Act of 1774 was a landmark piece of legislation. It guaranteed religious freedom for Catholics and restored French civil law, a pragmatic decision that helped secure the loyalty of the French-Canadian population, especially as the American Revolution began brewing to the south. Many colonists loyal to the British Crown, known as the United Empire Loyalists, fled the newly formed United States and settled in what would become Ontario and the Maritimes, further diversifying the population. The early 19th century was a time of growth and challenge. The War of 1812 saw the United States attempt to invade its northern neighbor. Canadian militia, British regulars, and their indigenous allies successfully defended the territory, a conflict that fostered a nascent sense of a distinct Canadian identity, separate from both Britain and the United States. Following the war, waves of immigrants from Great Britain and Ireland arrived, fueling westward expansion and the growth of new cities. However, this period also saw political unrest. Calls for more democratic and responsible government led to the rebellions of 1837 and 1838 in Upper and Lower Canada. Although the rebellions were suppressed, they highlighted the need for political reform. This push for change ultimately led to the most significant event in Canadian political history: Confederation. On July 1, 1867, the British North America Act united 3 colonies, the province of Canada, which was split into Ontario and Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick to a new country called the Dominion of Canada. Sir John A. Macdonald, our first Prime Minister, had a vision of a nation stretching from sea to sea. This vision was ambitious and faced many hurdles. To unite the vast territory, Macdonald's government promised to build a transcontinental railway, The Canadian Pacific Railway, completed in 1885, was an incredible feat of engineering that physically linked the country from the Atlantic to the Pacific, enabling settlement of the prairies and bringing British Columbia, which had joined in 1871, into the fold. As Canada entered the 20th century, it began to forge its own identity on the world stage. The nation's contribution to World War I was immense, with over 600,000 Canadians serving. The bravery and sacrifice shown in battles like Vimy Ridge, where Canadian troops captured a key German stronghold, became a powerful symbol of national pride and achievement. This sacrifice earned Canada a separate seat at the Peace Conference and in the League of Nations, marking a significant step toward full independence. The Statute of Westminster in 1931 formally recognized this, granting Canada legislative autonomy from the United Kingdom. The country faced immense hardship during the Great Depression, but emerged to once again play a crucial role in World War II, contributing significantly to the Allied victory on land, at sea, and in the air. The post-war era was a period of unprecedented prosperity and social change. Canada welcomed waves of immigrants from all over the world, transforming the country into a multicultural mosaic. The government introduced key social programs that define Canada today, including universal health care. However, this period also saw the rise of the Quiet Revolution in Quebec, a movement of intense social and political change that saw a resurgence of Quebec nationalism and a push for greater autonomy, leading to two referendums on sovereignty in 1980 and 1995, both of which were narrowly defeated. In 1982, Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau patriated the Constitution, meaning Canada could now amend its own supreme law without British approval. The Constitution Act also enshrined the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which protects the fundamental rights of all citizens. As we move into the 21st century, Canada continues to evolve. It's a nation grappling with its past, particularly its relationship with Indigenous peoples. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which documented the devastating legacy of the residential school system, has spurred a national conversation about reconciliation and the need to address historical injustices. Economically, Canada remains a leader in natural resources, but is also a growing hub for technology, innovation, and green energy. Socially, it continues to be a global leader in progressive policies and a beacon for immigrants seeking a new life. In recent years, Canada has navigated global pandemics, economic shifts, and complex geopolitical landscapes, all while striving to maintain its identity as a peaceful, inclusive, and prosperous nation. Looking towards 2025 and beyond, Canada's journey is far from over. The challenges of climate change, global economic uncertainty, and the ongoing work of reconciliation will undoubtedly shape its future. But if history has taught us anything, it's that Canada is a nation built on resilience, compromise, and the enduring belief in building a better, more inclusive society for all. And that's a whirlwind tour of Canadian history. Of course, we've only scratched the surface of this incredible story. Each era, each event, deserves its own deep dive. What part of Canadian history fascinates you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through time, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more content. Until next time, take care.